Hello everyone, first news update for 10th of March. Now it's about 9 o'clock in the morning Moscow time, and I have prepared plenty of news about some major developments, to be more precise, about obviously Kursk salient area and Russian offensive. Lot is happening there, all good for Russian side. Also, I will share information about developments, major developments on the line of contact, obviously all along the front line, relationships between Russia and the US, latest on that, and US and Ukraine. There are some updates there. Also information about this desperate attempts of EU so-called elites to kind of overtook US and get in charge of some major developments, not just in Ukraine, but in terms of world itself. It is quite interesting to observe, isn't it, this hysteria that is happening now among European so-called elites. Also, obviously, I will share information about developments in the Middle East, Israel, Syria, Iran. There are some updates there. Romania, by the way, something crazy is happening in Romania, just unbelievable stuff, by the way. So I will of course share with you latest on that. Canada has new prime minister. I'll give you information on that too, and there are much more news, dear friends. So I hope you will find this update informative and useful, and let's start. First of all, Russian offensive in the Kursk salient area, major offensive that started on 8th of March. And as you can see, dear friends, a lot of icons when it comes to this map on Kursk salient direction, and all these stars that you see on your screen are liberated settlements, liberated by Russian forces. So let's start. I'll give you names of the settlements. Novinka in Sumy region, by the way, was liberated. Also, Russian troops established full control and finalized clearing operation in Lebedevka settlement, in Lokhnya settlement, Malaya Lokhnya settlement, Viktorovka, Nikolaevka, Sorochina, Staraya Sorochina also were liberated by Russian forces a bit earlier, and their cleaning operation was finalized. On the eastern side of Kursk salient, Russian troops established control over their Kositsa settlement, over the Pravda settlement, over the Ivashkovsky settlement, also over the Kubatkin settlement. But this is not all. Russian troops established control over the Cherkasskaya Porechная settlement. Settlement Mikhailovka is under full Russian control, and settlement Mirny right on the outskirts of Suja itself, and settlement Makhnovka also on the outskirts of Suja district. As you can see, dear friends, Kiev regime's invading forces defense lines are collapsing like a domino, one after another. There is a panic, huge panic among the Kiev regime's forces. They are trying desperately to flee Kursk salient area without orders, by the way, in a panic mode. But it's not easy because all the roads are under direct Russian fire control, and therefore best decision, these troops of Kiev regime and their NATO mercenaries that are trapped now in the Kursk salient, best decision they can make is to contact the Russian side and organize their safe surrender. I believe if they contacted Russian troops, they will be offered the safe routes to surrender. Otherwise, if they will try to flee the region, well, they're gonna suffer huge losses, by the way. They're gonna suffer huge losses. Kiev regime's propaganda outlets are unable to hide that it's a total disaster for Kiev regime in the Kursk salient area, and many military experts are predicting now that all this Kursk trap operation will be finalized, and their entire territory will be cleared from invading force in upcoming days. Now, majority of the regime's forces are concentrated in Suja city itself, Suja town, and their surrounding few settlements that they are still in control of, and they are in desperate situation. They cannot receive reinforcements, they cannot receive any supplies whatsoever from Kiev-controlled parts of the Sumy region. And yet again, best decision they can make is to contact Russian side and organize a safe surrender. Otherwise, they are finished. They're gonna find their last stand on Russian soil, and I don't think they were dreaming about, right? So, total disaster, by the way. Total disaster is unfolding for the Kyiv regime and its NATO backers in Kursk salient area, and this is second time when NATO leadership, NATO's military leadership, NATO generals demonstrated how profoundly incompetent they really are, because we all remember it was NATO that planned 2023 summer so-called offensive in Zaporozhye and South Donetsk sectors of the front line, which end up being an absolute disaster for Kyiv regime. NATO trained dozens of brigades of Kyiv regime and armed dozens of brigades of Kyiv regime, especially for that offensive in 2023, and Russian troops decimated these brigades of the Zelensky's regime, as I predicted, by the way, long before offensive actually began. And after that, NATO generals, of course, they did not learn lesson, and they come up with a new plan. This time to invade the Kursk region of the Russian Federation, in hope that this invading force will reach Kurchatov city and Kursk nuclear power plant. Also, there was rumors, you remember, there was rumors that in that direction there was a military base of the Russian Federation where allegedly nuclear devices were stored, right? And some military experts were suggesting that that military base could be there also target of this invading force, Kyiv regime and the NATO. But we all know what happened during this Kursk invasion. NATO once again trained over a dozen of brigades of the Kyiv regime, especially for this operation. NATO armed these brigades, and that's why majority of destroyed military equipment in the Kursk salient area is a Western-made military equipment, from Challenger tanks and Abrams tanks to Bradley and Stryker infantry fighting vehicles, or the German and Swedish-made infantry fighting vehicles. We all have seen plenty of videos, isn't it, about destruction of this Western-made equipment. And well, I don't know what NATO generals were expecting, but Kursk offensive of Kyiv regime definitely become yet another major disaster for Kyiv regime's forces and the regime itself. And now we are, I guess, observing final days of this Kursk salient's existence on the map, right? I don't know. I cannot tell you when clearing operation will be finished, but I don't think Kyiv regime's forces that are trapped in that part of the Kursk region have much chances to survive more than I don't know, few days, maybe week. That's about it. They're gonna run away. They're gonna try to run away. There are reports about such attempts, but because all the roads that are connecting Kursk salient to Kyiv-controlled parts of the Sumy region are under direct Russian fire control, any attempt to flee Kursk salient is going to be also disastrous, with huge losses for Kyiv regime troops. So yes, we are observing final days of this disastrous operation of the NATO and Kiev. And after that, dear friends, after that, I think some major, once Russia will finalize clearing operation in Kursk salient area, I expect some major developments to happen on the Kyiv-controlled territory, including in regards to so-called leadership of Ukraine. But this is not all, dear friends. Russian troops obviously are improving their positions all along the front line, and for example, Russian troops established control over the Constantinople settlement. I reported about progress of the Russian armed forces in this direction earlier, and now we have confirmation from Russian Defense Ministry that Constantinople settlement on the southern side of Andreevka also liberated, as Andreevka is, and definitely one may argue that so-called Andreevka fortified area that Kyiv regime had in this direction is no longer exists, which is true, by the way. Progress of the Russian armed forces continues all along the front line, and I expect some big developments to happen in a relatively short time. To be more precise, I think we are about to receive information on the liberation of Chisov Yar. Battle for Chisov Yar lasted for quite long, but according to latest reports, Kyiv regime's forces are in control of just maybe 10-15% of the Chisov Yar, and I think it's matter of potentially days, and Chisov Yar will be fully liberated. Also, most likely before end of this week. Although let's see, time will tell. And when it comes to all these operations, by the way, Russian Defense Ministry, as you know, is a quite conservative organization, quite conservative institution, and takes quite a time before it confirms progress of the Russian armed forces in any direction. But we have some updates from Defense Ministry. For example, this report from RIA Novosti that Cherkasskaya Porечная, Malaya Loknya, and Kositsa in the Kursk salient area confirmed liberated by Defense Ministry. Also, Lebedevka settlement in the Kursk salient area and Novinka settlement in the Sumy region confirmed as liberated by Defense Ministry, and Defense Ministry confirmed the liberation of Constantinople, as I said just a minute ago. If you're wondering, dear friends, how many settlements Kyiv regimes and NATO mercenaries forces managed to occupy on initial stages of invasion in the Kursk region, it's several dozens, by the way. It was several dozens of settlements, but 32 of them officially confirmed as liberated by Russian troops at this point. More settlements de facto are liberated, and the Russian Defense Ministry will report about it, I guess, today or tomorrow. And the overall number will obviously increase, but currently Kyiv regime's forces are in control of just the Suja town, and there are a few villages around it in immediate proximity around Suja, and that's about it. So on initial stages, this salient was quite a large territory, isn't it? But it was shrinking and shrinking and shrinking on daily basis, and well, now we are observing final stages of this Kursk invasion of the Kyiv regime and its NATO backers, which turned out to be total disaster for our enemies. And as I predicted from the very beginning, as I said from the very beginning, Kursk salient did become a trap for most capable brigades of Ukraine, and the Russian armed forces used quite effectively this trap, isn't it? And the strategical reserves of Kyiv regime were decimated there. Most capable brigades, by the way. Hello everyone. If you find this video interesting and useful, please click that like button, leave some commentary and share with your friends. If you like my work and want to support this project, you can do it through several means. All the links are on this video in the description box and in the pinned comment, including links to my Patreon and Boosty pages, where you can have access to full shows in case you are interested. Thank you.